talking through this Monday MLB slate. Reminder, it starts at 6:40 Eastern, not 7. I will quickly just go over how my weekend, what I got going. I did actually okay. I played baseball. I threw in a lineup because I was up for. I got up at 3 a.m. to watch the golf because I actually at one point was up. It was like up $120,000, and it faded away. Did not end the way I had hoped. Scotty Scheffler, that was absolutely bizarre and unreal. So it was a little disappointing. Still a winning weekend, but not what I was hoping it would be. Cheats, how did you do? And yeah, how was your weekend?
Yeah, well, I killed it in the showdown on Saturday.
Oh, that's awesome. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got second in the 555 over there for like 15,000, and had some sweats in the lottery also. And then Bobby and I thought we were going to have a battle in the signature hole on Sunday, but our secondary guys didn't perform as well as they could have. And then as you mentioned, I don't know. Scheffler just kind of went about his business, and Robin Fleetwood just both completely collapsed under the pressure.
Oh man.
So I did end up winning a little bit in golf anyway, and that's pretty much all I have. I've made some. I'll talk to you about this maybe not even offline. So if those of you who are ever invest in Bobby or me on Stake Kings, the reason I always did that is again, I don't want to say I don't need the money, whatever, but my motivation for doing it was not to get like the rake back or whatever I get, from selling it. I really wanted to try to figure out some way to make the experience a little more entertaining for the people that are investing. And I had some ideas that I was implementing over the last week or two, and I'm going to continue to do some. Like I post like my lineups for once the slate locks with kind of an analysis of what everybody should be rooting for. So I started doing that for for League of Legends. And unfortunately, the only reason I could do it for League of Legends easily is because it's not a late swap sport. So I put my stuff up, and what I did was I did a YouTube video, and I set it to launch or to post or to publish, I guess, like 1 minute after lock. Okay. So that, I even went to sleep like 3 hours before. And so people, if they wanted to get on and sweat, they could see exactly what I had if they didn't feel like, getting into the DraftKings lobbies and stuff like that. Because one of the guys that actually invested in me in League of Legends doesn't even have a DraftKings account. He just wanted to sweat like the games or something. So I had to kind of try to convey to him like what we have in like any reasonable way. And then in the MMA slate, I did like kind of periodic slate updates using like the sports projection site, where I was able to show like what uniqueness I have, which stuff had a chance, and things like that. So I'm continuing to try to improve on that. I had a long conversation with Goldie a little while ago to get his thoughts on things like that. So there are always things that are kind of in the works that I'm continuing to work on. The other thing that's coming like right around the corner is football season. So we're going to be prepared for that. And then along with our normal football content, I'm going to be firing up the Survivor Pool stuff again with Brave Jayhawk, and that's become even more popular this year. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the site and my kind of approach to things that hopefully you guys will appreciate.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. I think that's a really it's a cool thing that it's always good to try and think of creative ways with that with that staking stuff. Anyway, on to this slate. We don't have any major weather concerns. I'll just throw that out there. But there's games with a little bit of, I guess, potential rain risk, but it doesn't look too bad at the moment. So this would be one of them, but it should probably be okay, knock on wood, as of this time this morning, this first game. Arizona-Cleveland. All right. Arizona-Cleveland sheets. Not Bush. It's Zach Gallen and Logan Allen. I'm curious what, if anything, you want to do here.
Yeah, so just to give you kind of a highlight, I have my top stacks reduced to my top 6. So I have 6 stacks I want to target, and then like one main pitcher, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, 7, like a bunch of like secondary options. And I have Gallen as a secondary option here, and that's pretty much all I have on the whole game, except I actually do have, and again, the same dilemma as always. I do have Arizona as one of my 6 decent stacks, but again, we run into the same issue about trying to go after Cleveland pitching. So I don't know if I'm actually going to prioritize them, but right now they're showing up as kind of a decent option. So for me, a little bit of Gowan and maybe a little bit of Arizona if I have to, but that's where I'm at for this game.
Yeah, I think that you summed it up pretty well. I'm not personally that high on this game. I think that if I did anything, it would probably be some Arizona. But that's the best one I've come up with so far. As I do like the Arizona a little bit, but yeah, I'm probably not going to end up being overly invested in this game personally.
And just so you guys know, running in the background, I'm running a SaberSim build in the background that we can share after.
Nice.
After we finish.
Nice. Sorry about this. The trash seems like the trash person's coming in this morning. Anyway, moving on to Cincinnati and Miami. Munoz and Nick Martinez, and I personally probably don't do anything with this one, but if I did anything, it would probably be some Munoz. But I guess that you could argue for Miami because they're super cheap, even if you don't stack them. I think they're just so cheap. You can use pieces. Guys like Kyle Stowers is batting third. He's 2,500. Yeah, that's really all I've got for this one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more bullish on this. I actually like Cincinnati as one of my main stacks today.
Okay.
It's not the best ballpark in the world, but I guess it's a testament to how weak the rest of the slate is. I guess I don't know. We'll see. But I actually like Cincinnati a decent amount. I have them rated second as just overall points and like fifth or sixth as far as value goes. So I actually like them quite a bit. And I have Munoz on the other side as a decent cheapo. I mean, to go with my SP1. So I have Munoz as kind of like seventh, eighth. Again, I'm probably going to be spreading out my SP2s. So, but he'll definitely get in there. But I have Cincinnati rated pretty high actually.
Mm-hmm. I understand it. I thought about it, but I'm probably a little bit more on the Munoz side. I don't love that many spots, so I might have to be open to some stacks that I don't really love tonight. Here is one that I am imagining that everyone is going to love, and it's actually not quite as high owned early in the morning as I was expecting. But what are your thoughts on this? Obviously Corbin and Webb. Yeah, I think you could make a lot of different cases here. What do you like here?
Well, first of all, I did make a wager on this game, and obviously with Logan Webb coming off a complete game shutout against Patrick Corbin, we're definitely taking Washington here. We have Washington plus only 140. So I mean, that's like such a ridiculously awful line. It's like gotta win, So that's what I have. But as far as DFS goes, San Francisco. Both parts of it looks really good. San Francisco as a stack looks like my top stack, both upside and value. And as far as pitching goes, I do have Webb as one of the good SP2s here. Even though he's coming off of that big win, which I don't like to usually play, which is why I'm not prioritizing him. But I definitely have him as a pretty decent SP2 here. And that's pretty much it. San Francisco chalk and Logan Webb, I guess.
Yeah, I'm interested a little bit in Webb, and I really like San Francisco. I don't like how popular they are, but it's not quite as bad as I thought it would be. So as of right now, I've got them as the number one team. Corbin, just as a reminder, he's in addition to being bad and giving up a lot of home runs. He's a great DFS guy to pick on because he gives up stolen bases and home runs. And I think the Giants look really good. You do have some pinch hit risk probably at some places in the lineup. I'm going to guess it'd be like maybe Encarnacion. I don't really know actually for sure. Their line's a little bit different, so they may not be doing as much platooning as we expect. But do like the Giants. All right, Minnesota, Chicago with wind blowing in. 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left field, 76 degrees. This game's got a nice 8 total. And you've got Hendricks and Festa, and I'm curious if it would be too crazy to play either of these pitchers. What do you think here, Sheets?
I don't think so at all. I mean, I like both these guys as SP2s here. I mean, and I was waiting to see what you would say about the win. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where if I liked them, if they were showing up, it's probably because the wind isn't blowing out 20 miles an hour. So
right.
So I wouldn't see them anyway. But I like both these guys. I like Festa actually. I mean, quite a bit somehow. I have him rated as one of the top SP2s on the board, and then Hendricks as well. I mean, they're both really, really cheap in a park which is going to restrict fantasy points on the other side. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't expect too much, but sometimes not too much is enough. So I do actually have both these guys in my mix.
Yeah, I've got them both on my list, and I think that I think Hendricks is I slightly prefer him if I had to pick one between he and Festa, just because he'll throw more pitches, but I think they're both totally viable. It's not a it's it, there's two, well, there's really one obvious pitcher. Everything else feels sort of like, even that I don't even feel that great about, to be honest with you. So I like the idea of maybe considering these guys in my large builds, and also potentially even in my large buy-in small field stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely considering this one. All right, Houston and Texas. Sheets, you're going to say the same thing you always say when Heaney pitches. So start us off here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine anybody's going to play him against Houston, and he's 6,400, so he's going to be in play. On the other side of that, Houston can certainly put up 10 in this game. So I think Houston's going to be in play a little bit. I don't have them rated all that high. Maybe they're just really expensive or something like that. It's very odd that I'm not getting more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Brown, okay, I guess. It's a little expensive to pay, like, against Texas, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have this like a top choice or anything like that. So it's little Haney to be different. Little Houston, maybe. I don't want to say be different, but I guess I don't know. I don't really see. I thought they would show up a little bit more for me. I don't know. Anyway, Heaney and Houston as always, and I mean Hunter Brown, I guess is fine. It just seems a little bit too expensive for this matchup.
Yeah, I hear you. It's I really like Houston for what it's worth, and I have not been getting them right this year very often. But look, they're really good against lefties. You've got Heaney, who's faced them a million times before, and they have just completely owned him. He's been awful against this team, and he actually hasn't even flashed any strikeout upside, and it's a pretty big sample size. You got 184 at bats and two players with over 40. Like, they've crushed him. So I'm sort of on board with just stacking up Houston today. And Texas's bullpen has not been good this year. So I like the Houston stack at low ownership quite a bit. I think Houston and the Giants at first look is probably where I'm going to end up hitting wise. And I think Hunter Brown is in play. Again, every slate is different. It's a high price. It's a tough matchup, but we got to at least consider him, I think. He's got the strikeout upside. So he's on the long list of guys who I'm sort of considering. And I still don't know if I had to build one lineup today who I really want as my pitcher, but he's definitely one of the guys I'm considering. All right. This is a very hot game in KC, by the way. It looks like great hitting weather, and it's a huge total. I believe it's the highest total on the slate. Yes, it is. It's a 10 total, Singer and Paxton. All right, Cheats, what are you doing here?
As usual, I'll play KC against Paxton. Paxton sucks. I think I'm probably going to be popular. KC's always popular.
Yep.
They just are. And the weather's not going to help that fact out. You know what I mean? People are going to play him even more. But I do like him. I'm not getting to Boston here. Brady Singer, as usual, projects for like 4 fantasy points somehow. But I'm gonna upgrade him, so I'm gonna end up playing some of him as well. So it's gonna be Singer and KC for me.
Yeah, I'm always open to a little low ownership on Singer. This Boston lineup has been really good this year, though, and it's not like a priority for me. I do think that KC. I understand why KC is the most popular stack out there. I'm probably not going to have any 5-man stacks of KC. And if I did anything, actually, I don't mind a little Singer, and I don't mind if you wanted to stack up Boston. I think both of those are very viable options. Boston will be significantly lower owned than KC, and they get the same weather benefit. Also, they're a road team. I want to get back to stacking more road teams if I can than home teams, just because you get those extra at bats so often. Anyway, so I'm on the side of the hitting mostly in this game, and I think Boston would be my contrarian way to do it. Rather than KC, even though you and I seem to have more respect for Singer than anybody in DFS or anybody in sports, basically. But I still think that we gotta consider it anyway.
So there's a phrase in the League of Legends streets. It could be in other streets too. When you have like kind of two bad teams playing each other, for DFS and for upside, it really can sometimes have quite a bit of it. They call it like a clown fiesta. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like when nobody cares about defense, nobody cares about anything. They just freaking go crazy, whatever it is. And this White Sox Oakland game just kind of just reeks of that for me. You know, like it could be. It's a serious like four-pronger, I think.
Right.
The first thing I would ask, and you can answer this after I finish, is who in the hell is KY Bush? Okay, he's 4K starting. I have no idea whether he's going to pitch 11 pitches or 80. Okay, but he's 4K. Second thing, you have JP Sears, who can actually put up a good number in this spot if things go his way. And on the other hand, I think both of these hitting teams could be are live for 10 runs, in just a stupid game, stupid game in front of 11 people, it'll be like some freaking little league game, and it could be like 12-10 with batters pitching from the outfield. I don't know. And remember, the slate is kind of weird because as you were kind of like you were hinting at earlier, even though you have some good spots, like even the pitchers that look good have kind of bad matchups. So it's not like you have anything that's great. We'll get to Glasnow. Oh, great, we get Glasnow. Who does he play? Oops, it's Philly. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we have Nola. He looks great. Who does he play? Dodgers. So it's not like you have any like nuts spot here.
Right.
I guess maybe San Francisco until they all get pinch hit for or something like that. This White Sox Oakland game to me just sounds kind of primed to just kind of like go crazy. So I actually do like all four sides. If you give me the permission to play the Bush guy, then it'll be a four-pronger. Otherwise, I think it's a clear 3-1.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Bush. So like he's only through like, I think he pitched 16 innings in the minor leagues at AAA anyway. He was terrible. But the White Sox,
terrific.
This is one of the worst teams in baseball history. Guess how many games they've lost in a row, Sheets?
What's that?
Guess how many games the White Sox have lost in a row? Oh,
they've lost a bunch in a row. I don't know, like 10. What?
20.
They've lost 20 games in a row.
20 in a row. It's an all-time legendarily bad team. Just all. I mean, their record this year, they're 27-84. That's like almost impossible in baseball.
When they were 27-64, people thought they were really bad.
Right.
And then they've lost 20 in a row since then.
Right. And there's nothing to benefit. They're not getting, so they had to just bring in another pitcher. That's what they're doing. I do think they let him go. Like if he's doing okay, I think he throws 85 pitches or somewhere in that range. And that is absolutely good enough on this slate to take a shot at, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to be much higher than other people are on this, unless I get, and I'll trust the projections on the pitches. The SaberSim right now has him at 83. That sounds like a reasonable number to me. And I think that's definitely worth taking. And by the way, we've got Sears projected to be like 25% owned or whatever. Bush projected to be like 8% owned, and they have the same strikeout prop. They have the same strikeout expectancy. So I think this is a spot where you kind of just have to just close your eyes and do it a little bit. However, if you're not doing it, I think you should be stacking up Oakland.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that Sears is the way to go. So the only thing I can't quite, with how bad the White Sox are, talk myself into a full stack. It's just hard for me to do. They did get Vargas from us. He's going to be leading off at 2,800. Brooks Baldwin is 2,200. They've got super cheap bats, but I don't know if I want to do a full stack for a team that's lost 20 in a row and scores like 2 runs every game.
Vaughn can hit, and Sheets can hit, and Robert can hit. I mean, the guys that can hit. I mean, like
yeah, exactly. That's funny. Eric Froelich is saying the last time they won a game, he was walking down to play day 4 of the main event of the World Series. That was forever ago.
I think the last time they won an event, I was playing day 4 of the World Series. That was 15 years ago.
That would be really something. Yeah. But I do have Sears near the top, and I do think that Bush is going to probably be a priority for me just because the price. And I don't really like that much pitching on this slate, but I also think that Oakland might be the best stack on the – I mean, it's 67 degrees, not ideal hitting weather, but shit, man. Like they're affordable. Bush, we have no reason to assume this guy's going to be good. It's the worst bullpen in baseball outside of Colorado. I think it makes a lot of sense as a 4-prong game. Although for me, the White Sox are not going to be a full stack. That's all I'd say. All right, Dodgers and Phillies.
This is could be a preview of something. And probably is a preview of something. Actually, these
pitchers might even be the same guys who.
I imagine these are the 2 best teams in the National League. I'm guessing. But so you have Nola, who can be really good, and you have Glasnow, who can be really good, and you have the Dodgers, who can be really good, and you can have the Phillies that can be really good. I'm probably gonna side with the pitchers. I just feel it's a little more likely that the pitchers can get a good score without like the opposing hitting being terrible. You know what I mean? As opposed to playing the hitters without the opposing pitchers being bad. You know what I mean? Like in this spot. So just don't think that Nola or Glasnow is gonna just show up with a really bad game. You know, so I'm gonna side with the pitchers, but as I kind of alluded to earlier, this is no lock spot. You know, like Glasnow is. Listen, I think Glasnow is pretty clearly, as I go through this, like the best play on the slate as far as pitching goes. And you think about that, and that's at home. That's playing the Phillies. It's,
right.
It's rough, you know. And Nola, I consider one of the Nola. What's the difference between him and? Well, I was about to say what's the difference between him and Logan Webb. I mean, the matchup is so much better for Webb that I guess you have to make Webb a little bit better. I guess so. If I had to really like rank all this stuff, I would say, I guess Glasnow, Webb, and then San Francisco, KC, Cincinnati. Who else did I say? Arizona, and then the Oakland White Sox game.
Yeah, I think this is a game where I'm definitely interested in the pitching more than the hitting. This is not a great Dodger lineup. Nola struggles with lefties if you ever get to him. And the Dodgers, like, they have got a couple good lefties. Don't get me wrong. Shohei is pretty good, but like, this is Gavin Lux hitting third, not Gavin Lux hitting ninth like he was to start the season. Hopefully, Freddie Freeman's recovered soon. And that's a painful story. And then hopefully Mookie when Mookie comes back and Max Muncy and the Dodgers actually put together their full lineup, maybe I would talk about stacking them in a game like this. But as of right now, I think Nola and Glasnow are I actually think Glasnow and Nola are the two obvious guys to start with. I think Webb would be next for me, or Sears would be next, and then Webb would be after him. But I know myself, and I'm probably on a slate like this going to end up playing Kai Bush in a big buy-in, just because he's 4K. Not to say that you necessarily need to get up to certain hitting or anything, but I don't really like any of the pitching, and nobody really stands out from nobody's expected to have more than 5.5 strikeouts except for Tyler Glasnow, who's at 7.5. So Glasnow and it's just what I would like to do is Glasnow and Bush is probably the first build I'm going to end up with.
Saber Sim in their first build without running Sims, and I know they always do this.
Yeah,
it's getting like almost 100% Glasnow and then 75% Kai Bush.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And
for what it's worth, sorry, go ahead. No, it's all right. I was going to mention that actually the same thing Eric just mentioned, that Philly's really been struggling. So anyway, it's an interesting point. We kind of knew that even their first half numbers, I just knew that they're not. I think they're a really good team, but they're not nearly as good as their record might indicated. And you can sort of see the wheels, starting to fall off a little bit. But I also wanted to throw out that I like Oakland as a stack, even though I like Bush, and I really like this Houston idea. And I think that's what Houston along with San Francisco is probably where I end up getting most of my exposure. And I'll bet you anything by the time, sort of like you said, who was it that you said it about who ended up Blake Snell. The other night on FanDuel, he was projected like 12% or something. And when he threw the no-hitter and he was like 48% owned in the 555. And it still wasn't good. So I was all excited about the no-hitter, and then I'm like, wait a minute, it just kills all the rest of my lineups.
However, I would also say, by the way, that he ended up a little less owned than I thought he was going to be on DraftKings. He was like 25% owned or something like that. I thought
DraftKings he was lower than FanDuel. Because the price thing in FanDuel was just kind of ridiculous. Anyway, it should be a fun slate. We'll be live at 6 Eastern, and hopefully we can get some screenshots in there and have a big night. It's been pretty good. I've been pretty lucky with my stacks lately. I actually on Friday, even though I didn't. The problem is I didn't have enough Snell on DraftKings because I had some Red Sox stacks at like 0% ownership, and it just felt like I was going to win something big. But then Nola, it's hard to stop when you don't have a pitcher who scores 55 or whatever. Anyway, anything else, Sheets, before we get out of here?
No, we're good. I have to update all this stuff anyway.
All right.